It's your boy, Rank Mountain Biking here, and today I participated in my first ever Enduro race. Now I may have gone a little bit too fast and overshot a corner, or maybe two corners.
Damn it.
Possibly three.
Dang it.
Now if you remember my last video, I actually crashed 2 weeks before this race and put a huge gash in my forearm, which was fun. Unfortunately, I healed pretty fast, so by the time it was race day, I was good to go. The only problem was I had very little practice on the trails because I was recovering from the crash. So all the trails that I rode today, I had to ride blind, which probably wasn't the best strategy, but it was still fun. And first I got warmed up on a trail that I actually ridden before, which is called Heavy Metal. And this trail is actually famous for having a jump over an old Volkswagen Beetle. So let's get started. For the final time of 1 minute and 20 seconds, I got 11th place in my age group for this trail, which isn't too shabby for my first ever Enduro race. But next, I was on to all the other trails that I have never ridden before. And we're going to start with Barr. And on my first lap of Barr, I was actually going too fast and overshot a turn, which cost me a decent amount of time. But luckily on my second try, I had a solid run.
Pretty steep. Oh, so many good rocks. Alright, I'm good with that one.
My final time was 1 minute and 33 seconds, which put me in 12th place. I probably could have done a little bit better if I pedaled a lot more, but pedaling's hard, so I didn't. So I moved on to the next stage, which caused me the most trouble, which was Chubby. And the reason it caused me the most trouble is because the first run I did, I came up to this obstacle and said nah, and just decided to walk it. And then on my second run, I was coming in a little bit too hot on these loose rocks and got a little bit sideways, but luckily I didn't crash. It still slowed me down though. But fortunately, on my third run, I was able to get it clean.
Golly.
My final time was 43 seconds, which put me in 11th place for this trail, which isn't too bad considering the mishaps I had on the first 2 tries, so I was happy with it. And next I went on Party Trail, which isn't too difficult, but it does have a couple tight corners and tricky spots, so let's get to it.
Golly. Oh.
My final time was 1 minute and 14 seconds, which put me in 12th place. And I was pretty happy with that run. So now we're going to move on to a trail called Chute Show, which has a couple of corners that you will definitely overshoot if you're going too fast. And that's exactly what I did on my first run.
Dang it.
But fortunately on my second run, I was able to clean it up and get a good solid lap in. So let's get to it.
Golly, so many tight turns. Yeah. Let's go.
So my final time for Chute Show was 1 minute and 22 seconds, which was 10 seconds faster than my previous run where I fell over, and it put me in 13th place for this trail. So I could probably use some practice on doing tight corners, since I feel like that's where I lost most of my time. But on to the next trail, which is called Threefer Madness. And this trail was both the funnest and the least fun trail out here. The first half was super fast and super fun, but then you go into the trees and it's super tight off-camber turns that basically require you to go pretty slow on, which is lame. I did overshoot a corner on my first run.
Well, okay.
But luckily I cleaned it up on my second run.
Excuse me!
So my final time was 1 minute and 9 seconds, which put me in 10th place for the trail, and that was the last trail that I needed to complete. So for my total time, I got 7 minutes and 23 seconds, which put me in 12th place out of 15 riders in the men's 18 to 29 category, which is pretty good for my first ever enduro race, especially considered I crashed before this and had to wait for my elbow to heal. But there's definitely a few areas that I can improve upon, and I decided to take a victory lap on heavy metal. I also want to give a big shout out to Team Trail Party for putting this race together. This was awesome, and hopefully I can make it out to the next race, but I'm not too sure yet since I'm a little bit busy with school. But this was super fun, and I really enjoyed it, so I'll definitely be back at some point. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button, and also consider subscribing. I got new videos coming out every Monday, probably. But always remember, you gotta go hard to get hard. Thanks for watching.
Whoa. Golly. Oh. Oh. That is so fast. My legs are dead. I'm done.